if you're going for Eric Bieniemy in LA, what number do you think that warrants per year?
Well, Urban Meyer's a different level because of his college resume, and it's just different in terms of economics. You are worth what they pay, and Eric Bieniemy will have a lot of suitors that are out there. I wouldn't be shocked if he interviewed for all 6 jobs that's available.
And I would double down on that essentially. When you think about the Chargers owned by the Spanos family, there's been a lot of controversy.
Yeah, they ain't gonna pay $12 million.
That's the thing, right? Remember, they were playing in one of the worst stadiums in the National Football League until they moved to SoFi Stadium. So you have to understand the ownership situation there in San Diego / Los Angeles. Plus the fact that Bieniemy might be a hot candidate, but he's still unproven. He still has 0 career NFL wins as a head coach. So a lot of it, I know in sports, you got to pay on potential. How could Bieniemy not succeed? I think you play players on potential. You never pay coaches on potential. Coaches have to prove it first.
Yeah, and he'll get the going rate like a lot of he'll get the going rate like a lot of the young head coaches that take over, whether it's Kyle Shanahan or Sean McVay. He'll get one of those 4-year, 5-year type deals that will be a prove-it type deal situation where he'd probably get $5 million a year. I would say that's kind of where they started at, $3.5 to $5 million. Has been that number. And then as he continues to get successful and win games, that number will climb.
But Zubin, this is where I get confused. Zubin, you can help me with this. Like, how does a guy like Urban Meyer warrant that $10, $11, $12 million range?
His resume
in college.
His resume, it doesn't matter though.
But it's unproven.
But
it's unproven at the NFL level. Like, that's a high number. If you're telling me Eric Bieniemy is going to get 3 to 5,
he can go get $12 million from Texas tomorrow. I mean, it's just it's one of those deals where if there's a college job available for Urban Meyer, it could be USC. It could be.
I know.
It could be.
All I'm saying is Matt Rule gets close to $9 million a year. You're talking about giving Eric Bieniemy 3 to 5.
Well, I don't know what the numbers will be. I'm just saying when they bring these coaches in sometimes, and it depends on the ownership group, as Zubin said. When you think about the ownership in Carolina, he has more money than God. He just spend it. It doesn't matter. How bad do you want it, right? Do you want Matt Rule that bad? Okay, here's what it's going to take. Do you want Urban Meyer that bad? Here's what it's going to take. That's what it boils down to. Do you want to spend the money?
I'll give you 2 quick things on that. Number one, with Matt Rule, I agree with you, Jay. It's crazy to give that sort of money to a guy that had never put on an NFL headset. You're talking a $60 million contract. His salary is close to Bill Belichick, Pete Carroll, and the guys.
Exactly.
How bad do you want him?
Correct. Because remember, Rule has been a rebuilder, right? Because whether it's college / NFL, he rebuilt Temple, he rebuilt Baylor, and David Tepper, the owner of the Carolina Panthers, as Key said, has all that money. He wants to blow it up. His whole thing is let's blow it up and let's start over. This guy
just fired the general manager,
Marty Herney. So he's been able to rebuild 2 organizations, granted none of them from the NFL. So at least there's a window, if you're Tepper, to say this guy's had 2 reclamation projects, 2 of the worst programs in college football, one that suffered a scandal which nearly brought down the entire program, and he built them back up. The other thing I would say about Bieniemy, the numbers can always go different ways. I understand he's hot, he's 51, let's give him all this money before he's proven anything. But you could also go back to the University of Colorado, where he was an unbelievable player.
But not a great offensive coordinator.
He was the offensive coordinator of Colorado. Jay, you know what their record was at Colorado? 3-22.
Yeah.
He was the offensive coordinator at his alma mater, and they went 3-22. And then, I'm not saying anything here, but he suddenly gets Patrick Mahomes, and he's a genius.
But
everybody takes advantage of that.
Everybody is different. I mean, Matt Nagy parlayed his success under Andy Reid into Chicago.
Doug Peterson, same thing.
Peyton Manning signed off on Adam Gase. He got a job. So every situation is different. And Eric Bieniemy is going to be a hell of a coach in the National Football League. I trust that wholeheartedly. But I know that the Chargers aren't going to spend that type of money. When you talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars potentially giving Urban Meyer $12 million a year, if that is the number and if that is the team, the owner got endless money. So Shad Khan, he doesn't care. He wants to win. One of the things that I always say, Jay, when they go down to West Palm Beach and they have those off-season meetings and stuff,
show me the rings.
Buddies is walking around, they drinking their wine, and they got them big old shiny rocks on. They got everything in the world. They got yachts, private jets, big houses. a lot of them don't have those Super Bowl rings. And they will do anything to get one so they can be in the club. When they go golfing, they can talk to their buddies, put their cigars out, and swing the clubs and talk about, look at my ring. That's what they want to do. So whatever Urban Meyer or whatever Eric Bieniemy and some of the other coaches out there want, that's what they're going to give them.
Last thing, Shad Khan is the more of a recent owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Wayne Weaver, a lot of other guys that owned the team in the past. But I will mention that the Jags have been around for 27 years, and this is the 19th time they're picking in the top 10. Think about that for a second. They've been around for about 27 years. This is the 19th time they are picking in the top 10. This is the first time they'll ever have the number 1 overall selection.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.